Welcome to my channel again. Today, I will talk about a drama action movie from 2022 titled Top Gun: Maverick. Spoilers ahead, let's get started. We see several recruits and Navy men on the ships where the pilots take off or make their returns. In Mojave Desert, California, a former top aviator in the Navy, Captain Pete Michelle, aka Maverick, is gearing up for a test flight to examine the ability of a jet. He has 30 years of service experience, battle awards, and other accomplishments, which make him a high-end aviator. Maverick turned into a test pilot as he could not cope with the agony of losing his best buddy, Goose, in a catastrophic accident. When Maverick arrives at the facility to test a mock jet, Bob and Salahaddin inform him that Rear Admiral Kane is coming to seize the development of this hypersonic scramjet. Kane plans to redirect the cash to his drone programs because he doesn't think Mach 9 is good enough. To achieve the Mach 10 target, Maverick decides to test the aircraft against Admiral Kane's will, taking it past its original Mach 9 projection and hitting Mach 10, to the delight of the crew. However, Maverick tries to take it faster and ends up wrecking the jet, but he manages to eject in time. Although Maverick managed to escape, the authorities now want a valid answer for his actions. Angered by Maverick's ignorance, Kane tells him that Admiral Tom Kosinski, also known as Iceman, the commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, stopped him from grounding Maverick following the incident. Instead of being grounded, Maverick has been called back to Top Gun, where he will lead a critical mission. Maverick makes his way to San Diego, California, where he meets Vice Admiral Bo, Cyclone, and Rear Admiral Solomon, who later tells him about their intended target. It is an enrichment facility for uranium, which directly threatens American allies in the area. Additionally, the facility is located atop an underground bunker at the valley's end. It is GPS jammed and protected by a sizable surface-to-air missile battery that supports a small number of fifth-generation fighters. Moreover, the valley is backed by a sizable stockpile of obsolete aircraft. Maverick comes up with a strategy to fly across the canyon, while attacking the target with 2 pairs of Super Hornets, and destroying the plant. The officials inform him that he will not be conducting the mission, but rather instructing a group of 12 Top Gun grads from the squadron. Maverick will select 6 from the group based on how they perform. Seeing Goose's kid, Bradley Bradshaw, aka Rooster, as one of the graduates, Maverick denies doing the job. However, he is pressured to teach, or otherwise, he will never fly for the Navy again. When Maverick receives a message from Iceman, his former competitor in the Navy, Maverick makes it clear that the kids are not ready to carry out such a critical task. Iceman responds that this is why Maverick is called back to the Top Gun. As Maverick finds his ex-girlfriend, Penny Benjamin, that he left a while ago, which pissed off her Admiral father. She bears no ill will toward Maverick, but she ends up making him pay around for everyone at the bar. At the same bar, Phoenix and her 2 pals, Payback and Fanboy, enter the bar to encounter Hangman and Coyote. Meanwhile, Bob introduces himself to the team as Phoenix's backseater. Hangman believes he will become the team leader and defeat Rooster as a high-end pilot. However, Rooster also seems confident, but he doesn't brag like Hangman. After Maverick's card declines, Penny has Hangman and Payback playfully throw Maverick out. Seeing Rooster playing the piano like his father, Maverick gets a flashback of Goose's painful death, for which he finds himself responsible. Solomon explains to the squad during orientation that only 6 applicants will be chosen out of 12, with 1 serving as the mission commander. He then introduces Maverick, who will brief his students on their tasks. In addition to instructing the squad from the book, Maverick wants them to engage in practical activities and pick up strategies their adversaries won't be aware of. Besides acting normal around his teacher, Rooster keeps on denying Maverick's instructions. In addition to considering Maverick responsible for Goose's death, Rooster hates Maverick because he withdrew his name from Naval Army, losing him 4 years. Maverick goes back to the bar to pay Penny back what he owes her. He then spends the afternoon on her boat with her, and there is clearly still a spark between them. While instructing some basic fighter maneuvers to the students, Maverick orders them to avoid his attack. In case of failure, they must do push-ups. However, no one in the team manages to defeat Maverick. At one point, Rooster is about to target him, but he cannot do so because of the very low altitude. Suddenly, Maverick approaches him and makes a kill. After the practice, Cyclone bursts out his anger on Maverick for flying the jet below the average altitude, putting the plane and the pilots at risk. Maverick thinks of the maneuver as part of their practice, but now Cyclone wants a briefing of Maverick's daily plans every morning. Desperate to learn about the agony between Maverick and Rooster, Hangman discovers an old photo of Maverick with Goose and Ice, which allows him to attack Rooster using his weak point. Later, Maverick briefs the team on their impending assignment and emphasizes the value of timing in the endeavor. 2 aircraft crews will engage in low-level infiltration attacks throughout the project's first phase. The plant is protected with radar-guided surface-to-air missiles, however, they are meant to defend the sky above, rather than the canyon below. In order to avoid being detected by radar and dying, they must practice maintaining their aircraft at a maximum height of 100 feet. Because 5th-generation aircraft will be awaiting orders at an airfield nearby, the goal time is 2.5 minutes. The jets must arrive on schedule, attack the objective immediately, and go before these 5th-generation aircraft have a chance to catch up to them. They will practice low-altitude timing for the next 3 weeks in preparation for the mission. Hangman brings up Maverick's friendship with Goose, which provokes Rooster into nearly attacking Hangman, but the other pilots split them up. Ice requests Maverick go visit him. He is suffering from throat cancer and can mainly communicate through a computer. Maverick expresses his concern over working with Rooster, fearing that something will happen to him like with Goose. Ice tells him he must work closely with Rooster, and he manages to speak to Maverick and tell him that the young pilots need him more than he realizes. Cyclone steps out onto the runway to find that nobody is there. He finds that Maverick brought the pilots over to the beach to play volleyball as a bonding exercise, which appears to work since they are all having fun. Maverick later goes out with Penny and tells her that he pulled Rooster's application because his mother asked Maverick to look after him before she passed away. Later in the academy, Solomon explains to the team that their mission has been accelerated by 1 week due to the uranium facility becoming operational sooner than anticipated. The plan is explained by Captain Maverick, who claims that it can only be accomplished with the aid of 2 successive miracles carried out by 2 sets of planes. For the operation to be successful and the pilots to survive, these planes must work together and precisely coordinate their movements. To maintain the lowest altitude and the only possible attack angle, the pilots will invert immediately into a steep dive. The impact location that is smaller than 3 meters broad is the target. In order to allow the second aircraft to strike the uranium facility below, 1 group of aircraft will breach the reactor. The pilots will have to do a high G steep enough to blow out their lungs if they want to escape the region alive, which is the only way to complete the assignment. During practice, a bird strikes Phoenix's plane, causing an engine failure. Although Phoenix and Bob manage to evacuate, Bob suffers from minor burns. In a rage, Rooster confronts Maverick and demands to know why he pulled up his Navy application earlier. Maverick replies that Rooster wasn't ready then. He counsels Rooster to trust his intuition rather than his reasoning. However, Rooster refuses to comply with his orders. Warlock comes in to inform them that Ice has died. A funeral is held for him days later with Maverick, Penny, and the other pilots in attendance. Cyclone decides to take over instructional duties from Maverick. When he proposes an alternative plan, the other pilots seem to question him. Outside, the radars detect Maverick flying his jet to complete the exercise, where he is able to fire at the target on the ground with seconds to spare, impressing all the pilots including Hangman. Cyclone reluctantly changes his mind and assigns Maverick as the mission's leader. Payback and Fanboy are placed in 1 plane, while Phoenix and Bob are placed in the other as part of Maverick's task crew. Maverick decides to pair up with Phoenix's aircraft and aims Rooster, the mission captain. The 4 jet squads are now prepared to enter the enemy's territory, with their nearby aircraft carrier firing Tomahawk missiles at the base to destroy the runway, causing enemy jets to scramble back towards the target. The process is initially slow and hard to finish since Rooster and his wingmen are 1 minute late. When Maverick motivates him, he swiftly deploys at a fast pace and quickly reaches his destination. The team successfully destroys the uranium facility by sticking to the plan. As they are preparing to leave, Rooster is attacked by surface-to-air missiles. However, Maverick sacrifices his plane to shield Rooster, which leads to a collision. After determining that Maverick has been killed in action, the remaining aircraft are ordered to return to the ship. In defiance of orders, Rooster turns around to protect Maverick from a helicopter gunship. Rooster, unfortunately, is shot down by a second surface-to-air missile and ejects nearby. Maverick and Rooster reunite and devise a plan to get out of there. They spot an F-14 Tomcat and take control of it. They start to fly away and are pursued by enemy jets, leading to a dogfight. Although Maverick manages to take two of them out with bullets and flares, they run out of weaponry just as a third jet comes their way. Rooster is also unable to eject himself, so the two accept that they are about to die until Hangman comes through and destroys the last jet. Maverick and Rooster make it back to the carrier, where their crew congratulates them. Rooster and Hangman have a newfound respect for one another, while Rooster looks at Maverick the same way his father looked at him. The movie ends with Rooster seeing old Navy pictures of his dad, as Maverick invites Penny for a ride in P-51, and Maverick takes her for a flight in his plane. Subscribe for more engaging videos like this. Hit the bell icon and be the first to watch, like and comment. Thank you for watching.